Welcome to Doing It My Way by Beata Matras, a podcast about project and product management, communication, brand, and IT. All these topics will definitely improve and have a positive impact on your career. So join me today, subscribe, and expect a new episode every week. Thank you. Welcome to Doing It My Way, where today we'll explore the cutting edge of project and product management and delve into the strategies that shape successful products. Today I'm joined by Kamil Cupial, VP at Product Pro, energetic product professional and strategy wizard, known for his innovative approaches in product management. Kamil combines user research with a craftsman attention to detail to create value-driven products and forge strong relationships. Welcome, Kamil. It's great to have you here.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Beata. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. And well, I heard that every podcast should start with a joke, so I've got a little pun prepared. May I?
Yeah, of course. Go for it.
They say being a product manager is like being a conductor of a classical music orchestra, except the musicians are still learning their instruments and half of them think they are playing jazz. And yeah, now you can laugh. Now you can laugh. It's a joke, but I love this humoristic way of defining the product management and product manager role in practice.
Yeah, because I think sometimes, when we're taking our roles too seriously, it actually blocks us from, experimenting or, making mistakes and learning based on that. So I think it's a great metaphor of a product manager. And yeah, thank you for this great introduction. Yeah.
I promise I don't have more jokes for today prepared. So now let's be more serious.
Okay. Let's move then to the first question. So Kamil, to kick us off, could you share what shaped your approach to product management and tell us more about your professional journey?
Yeah, sure. So my journey in product management or in tech industry, let's say, has been quite diverse, spanning from conducting workshops and implementation projects to managing product strategies for various companies. So I was starting like as a researcher, and then I moved to more managing roles because I see a direct links between those roles. And in the last few years, I've had the pleasure of working with over 2,000 product managers and product owners and UX designers and tech leaders and so on, helping them navigate three most important things from my perspective: product discovery, product strategy, and product analytics. All of it to align with user needs and market opportunities. Because one of my core belief is that effective and successful product management is part art and part craft. The art space lies in innovation, while the craft involves using the right tools and frameworks. So my approach focuses on strategic, data-driven or data-informed work, which should help us making well-informed decision and, first of all, understanding user needs deeply, because I believe that we should focus on the user value, and I believe in that case the rest will follow. So I've always tried to champion a customer-centric approach, believing that the customer's voice should drive every product decision. From my perspective, this not only boosts the product metrics itself, like customer satisfaction, but also can help us to enhance other business metrics like customer lifetime value, etc., etc. Leveraging data for decision making allows us to eliminate uncertainties and risk and focus on strategies and tactics with the highest potential for success. That's the shortest possible answer.
Okay, there's a lot. So if you could like summarize, what were the key moments or influences that led you to where you are today?
I think there have been quite a few moments that shaped my, let's say, journey. Uh, One of the earliest was the moment when I realized that I'm a generalist at heart. So I just can't help but look at the bigger picture and connect the dots across various fields. There are so many things that interest me that I want to explore deeper, and well, it was always very hard for me to focus on one single area. And as you probably know, we live in the world of experts. So everyone was telling me, you should focus, you should focus, you should choose, you should focus. For instance, during my time at university, I was equally fascinated by technology, business, latest trends in both business and technology, etc. I simply couldn't decide what to focus on. I couldn't decide who I want to be. Then I realized I didn't have to choose. I discovered that my generalist mindset also has some advantages I could and I should use in my professional journey. So I strongly believe, and I have proofs, that product management is definitely an area where you can use our generalist mindset. And yeah, this led me to constantly explore and experiment and seeing the business and technology as basically the same thing, because product manager, in my opinion, is a person who translates business into a technology, or a better way, translates user needs or market needs to technology. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and what you mentioned about being a generalist, you're right. I mean, product management is the area that I think brings a lot of generalists, and we are put into a very challenging world of specialists everywhere on the daily basis. We are working with specialists who sometimes I think expect us to have answers for everything, where we don't, but our kind of generalist mind um, leads to like knowing who can know the answer or connecting the dots into like different style, and that leads us, I think, to the first topic. We started from a joke, now we are becoming more serious. Let's move to product failures. These can be painful and costly for the business, but very often they provide valuable lessons. And from your perspective, why do products fail, and what proactive steps can be taken to prevent that?
Okay, but now maybe let's start with the question: what exactly is a product failure? What do you think?
For me, product failure is like I have a theory or a hypothesis, and that hypothesis is wrong.
Okay.
So that's basically it. But for me, it's a lesson right now
Yeah.
because, from this failure, I can have a lesson. But I think not all people have that mindset.
So I would like to highlight the fact that the situation you just described is a product manager's business as usual. So I think and I can observe that most of our ideas are wrong, and it's nothing wrong about being wrong, uh, because, as you said, we need to learn from that. So yeah, that's generally great question, and I agree that product failures can indeed be tough, but we need to understand and we need to remember daily that this is a learning opportunities, and we should to perceive them in this exact way. So having said that, let's jump to details, because in my experience, product usually fail for a few key reasons, and here saying a product failure, I mean something much bigger. So a product failure, we can say, is when you have to, I don't know, close the project, close your company, fire your team, etc., etc. This is huge, but this is also something that happens all the time. So the first thing I would like to tell more about is lack of market fit. And this is when the products are built without a deep understanding of the market truly needs. So we have the idea, but we don't have we don't validate our hypothesis in a safe environment. So we decide to invest a lot of money, a lot of resources to build our idea that is based on very often nothing. So this is the first challenge that every company faces. And this is also a space where user research and validation come in, because I believe it's essential to involve potential users as early as possible in the product development process to ensure the simple fact, to check the simple thing. If there is a demand on the solution, on the product we are building. And something closely connected to lack of market fit is poor execution, because even a great idea, even if we are right about what market needs, can fall if it's not executed well. So, it can include everything from development, design, marketing, customer support, basically everything that is connected to our operations. So, the answer is the answer on this challenge. The way of dealing with this challenge is simple but difficult in the same time, because here we have to ensure that the team has the necessary skills and resources. That's it. And how to do that? I think it's not the topic for this podcast, but we also can dive into that later. And the another thing are also connected to the first two things. The first thing, the another thing is ignoring feedback. I believe feedback from users is gold that many companies, many founders are ignoring. I cannot understand why, because ignoring or failing to iterate based on the validated, properly gathered user feedback led to product that doesn't evolve with user needs. And again, the phrase user needs, I will repeat it as a mantra, because user needs and knowing user needs is something crucial for every successful and impactful product. And the last thing here, misalignment with business goals, or even lack of business goals. When we don't know what we want to achieve, it's basically impossible to achieve those goals because we don't know what to achieve. So very often products are developed without knowing what we want to achieve, without knowing the expected outcomes of the new feature, of the new product area, etc., etc. So in this situation, it's basically impossible to optimize the product because, again, we don't know what to achieve. We cannot achieve this thing. And yeah, let's sum it up. Failure is never easy, but with the right approach, it can become a stepping stone to future success. And also, there's a saying that to succeed in one project or one business, you first need to fail in 10 others. So I think that we shouldn't fear failures. Of course, we should do our best to avoid them, but when they do come, let's call them by name. Let's say, okay, I made a mistake, and let's learn from this mistake. Let's try again, richer with the new knowledge. Okay, failure is never easy, but I believe it can become the most important lesson in our journey.
Yeah, and you mentioned the challenges like lack of market fit, poor execution, ignoring feedback, misalignment with business goals, and I'm wondering like how many of those is actually like connected to not being able um, to like say like, yeah, I'm wrong. I think I can be mistaken. And it's like a kind of this, ego fight that I'm always right. I want to like build something successful. It's again about not being confident enough to actually embrace the failure and seeing it as a lesson. I'd say, yeah, but it's just a comment that came to my mind.
Okay, but let's keep in mind the fact that not being able to say, okay, I'm wrong, is the biggest mistake you can make. And it's not it's not the fact that you can somehow hide your mistakes, okay? Because when you don't react, when you have to react, this is your decision, and this is the worst decision you can make. So it's a decision about when you will uh, say that thing I'm wrong. If you
Yeah.
understand what I mean.
Yeah. And after discussing challenges, let's shift to more like positive side. And from your extensive experience, what are the core principles of successful product development that you believe are essential for creating user valuable products and impactful ones?
Yeah, I believe there are a lot of principles we can focus on, but maybe let's discuss the most important ones. So, the first thing, and again, it's about user needs, I call it user centric design. And by design here, I mean not only the user interfaces, they are, of course, also important, but I mean the whole picture, like the user experience design, like the user journey, like everything connected to how users uh, interact with your product. So the thing is, we should always put the user at the center of the design and development process. And it also covers the process of discovering their problems, their needs, and validating our ideas how to solve their problems, because every product should solve some problems. If you cannot name the problem you solve, it's something very wrong about your product and about how you perceive your product. So again, understanding user needs, understanding user pain points, understanding user behaviors is crucial, is the most important thing about building the product. And I believe you should have this knowledge before writing even one line of code. It's easy to forget about the users, I know, but we really, really need to remember that they're not only numbers in the Google Sheets or in the Excel. They are real people with real challenges. And you should remember that you do what you do. You create your product because you want to make someone's life easier. And you should exactly know how you are doing that or how you want to do that. And building on that, I would also say few words about value proposition. So clear and compelling value proposition, clear and compelling promise you are giving to the market. Again, your product should solve a real problem. So this one short and sexy statement help us as a team and as your users aligning and communicating the product's benefits to basically everyone. And of course, continuous iteration, because nothing is really done. Like the digital products are never like finished. There is always a space for improvements, and when you launch your product, you gather the feedback, you know what to improve, how to make your products better, because the users also change, the environment change, the competitors don't sleep, they are also working on basically the same things that you are working. So you should be ready to iterate your product continuously. And of course, we cannot we cannot skip the thing connected to strategy. So strong vision and strategy is also something that can give you a fuel to move forward, to fight with your competitors, to make your customers happy, to make your customers' lives better. So this includes, from my perspective, setting long-term goals and having a, let's say, roadmap, but I don't like this word, but let's say roadmap that balances strategic milestones with tactical actions. But keep in mind, iteration, and iteration. So the strategy also isn't something that is written in the stone. It should be iterating based on the feedback you are receiving from the market. And of course, last but not least, data driven decision making or data informed decision making, because it's also important to keep a space for innovation. So leverage data to inform your decision. Check the reports that you can have access to. Uh, you should also have the enhanced analytics system in your product to analyze the user's behavior, to validate your hypothesis, to create new hypotheses why users don't use this feature or why users behave in some unexpected way. And this is also a huge area that can give you powerful fuel for better decision in terms of product development. And of course, there are many more, and we can discuss those principles in more detail. But I believe that those was the most important, and when they are integrated into your product development process, it can it can enhance the chances of creating impactful and successful products. And yeah, learning, adapting, and improving, that's the thing you should keep in your mind.
And there is a lot of principles that we should follow, or we have to follow as product managers or people who are interested in products. But the core, as you mentioned, is again like the same: being focused on the user, continuously learning, data driven approach, having a strategy or vision, and yeah, being adaptable. It summarizes like nice to the one phrase like common sense, I would say, like create the product like you live. Also, I mean, maybe in life we don't have like very often this data driven decisions, although for example if we treat our experience as data, well, we are constantly learning, yeah, and making decisions based on our experience. So this is a kind of data we have available. But coming back to the topic of product, um, we've met actually, in person during Warsaw IT Days, and you had a really great workshop on product discovery there. I mean, apologies, I wasn't attending, but I heard the opinions and good reviews, and
Thanks for that.
yeah, it was discussed widely during this conference or after this conference. So, could you share some key tools and strategies you rely on for effective product discovery?
Wow, absolutely. But product discovery is very broad topic. So we have 3 days workshops on about the basics of product discovery. So it's a challenge to put this topic into few sentences, but let's try. And let's start with my personal guiding principle. And my guiding principle in product discovery is that product discovery should be adaptable. So it means it should take into account your individual nuanced needs and capabilities. So it's very hard to provide a one size fits all template, but the most important, or the most, basics tools we can use in product discovery process, it can be, for example, user interviews. I love starting product discovery process with user interviews. This is one of the most direct ways to understand your users. Speaking directly with your target audience helps you with basically everything. It's a way to gain insights into their pain points, needs, behaviors. It's the best way to learn how your target audience thinks, and uh, the knowledge about how your target audience thinks is the key to success, because it's very often impossible to test everything, every decision you want to make in your product. But if you can put yourself in your customer's shoes, it's much easier to make any decision you have to make. So that's the first thing. And it's also the simplest way, I think, to gather insights, because finding a potential customer or talking to your active user is something that you can do by, writing an email. Hey, do you have 30 minutes to talk? I would like to ask you a few questions. And I can guarantee you it's possible to do. But the other thing, the more challenging thing is, for example, gathering the data from surveys and questionnaires. So you can gather quantitative data from a larger audience. If you have a lot of active users, you can make some Google form, and you can use other tools like Typeform or SurveyMonkey, and you can design and distribute the survey efficiently and gather data you are not able to gather from product analytics system, for instance. Then we have, of course, everything connected to usability. So you can implement, for example, Hotjar in your product. Hotjar provides you recordings from the real users. You can analyze how your users behave in your product, what they are clicking, what they are not clicking, what is causes some problems in your product, etc., etc. Then we have, of course, everything connected to prototyping, to A/B testing. So before coding anything, you can test your prototypes. You can talk to your customers. You can ask them to comment your prototypes, to comment your ideas. And it's much cheaper to iterate your product on the prototyping phase than later when you developed something. Okay. Then we have, of course, some desk research, market research. So you have a lot of data everywhere. You have Google, you have ChatGPT, you can ask them questions, you can find reports from, Nielsen or Statista.com, etc. And it also can give you some insight into the current market state. And it's also important to understand the trends. It's also important to understand the potential direction that you can lead your product. And I can say much more about tools, about frameworks. We can say more about, I don't know, personas. That is one of the most basic tools we use in product management. But those methods I described, I believe they are good enough to start. They are a great starting point. But we have to remember that the key is to adapt these tools and strategic to fit our unique context and needs. Because what is also important, product discovery isn't a one-time activity. It's an ongoing process of learning, iterating, and of course, improving.
How do these tools that you mentioned, like A/B testing, surveys, customer journey mapping, prototyping, feedback loops, market researches, translate into like the initial stages of product development?
Very much so, because it can completely change where everything. We are starting with some hypotheses. We need to understand that we, as the product managers, should work on a hypothesis on a daily basis. So, hypothesis is a thing that we hypothesis or assumptions. Okay, so we think that something can be true, but we cannot know that for sure. So those frameworks, those tools can help us to learn, to verify. So we have hypothesis, then we run or conduct few user interviews, and we know for sure if we are right or we are wrong. And based on that, we can make data informed decisions. Because, I've never seen a project where the initial concept survived its first contact with the market. There is always a need for change, and sometimes this change has to be huge. Almost always we are wrong about our target audience, we are wrong about our unique value proposition, about our key selling points, about how to provide the value we see, etc., etc. And sometimes just a few conversations with potential users can reveal that our the whole previous thought process was based on incorrect assumptions. So, as I said before, talking to users opens our eyes and teaches us to think like our users. And this is really very, very important thing. And how do we do that? We are validating assumptions. So we are engaging our users to the development process. We are asking them questions. We are open to their ideas. We validate, or of course, also their ideas, and it can really save time and resources in the long term. Then gaining new insights, because when we are working with one team, we are closed in this bubble. So with time, everyone is learning how the other people in the team is thinking. So it's very hard to really innovate when we are not open to the users, to the real users, to the people outside our bubble.
I'm really happy that you actually said that the first initial concept is very often like wrong, and it doesn't meet the let's say it doesn't meet like the expectations, or it doesn't bring the user value or solves the problem that actually users are having, because that's empowering, I would say. And thanks to that, also like this first failure or like 10 first failures, we are able to become stronger and also maybe in the future like finally develop a better product or develop our product. So thank you for mentioning that. But I actually followed your work and your recent interview from a Polish podcast. Sorry, I don't remember the name right now,
Iteracja,
but
probably.
Iteracja, yeah, maybe. And it was very interesting that you mentioned that you have experiences with tech Polish giants like, for example, Allegro. And could you maybe provide specific use cases where the product management strategies that you just mentioned particularly paid off?
With such questions, I have a bit of problem because most of the most impressive examples are covered by thick NDAs.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I cannot provide names. I can say that in almost every case, the research activities and reasonable product management tools and frameworks give some value, and the type of the value really depends on the specific area of the project. So one of the projects that I was working recently, we have the product, we have a lot of information. We conducted a huge product discovery activities. We verified that the problem exists in the market. We verified our ideas about how to solve those problems. And then the development process started. And then the application was launched, the product was launched. And what we could observe, well, the original design was too complicated and it was causing high drop-off rates. So for us, it was quite clear that we have to simplify the navigation, we have to simplify the user journey, we have to make it more intuitive, more plug and play process. But this change required a lot of extensive work with the app founders, because they were like, okay, but we know our users have this problem. We know that our solution is great. So what the hell? What the hell? And the answer was, while these features were indeed amazing and provided great value, the way they were presented was so overwhelming for the users. In the first few minutes they were testing this application, that users didn't have the energy or motivation to experience the value firsthand. So the consequences were that we have to redesign the whole application. And of course, the problem was that this flow wasn't tested before development phase. We could avoid this problem, but we didn't. So when the problem appeared, we had to face it, and we have to hide 90% of features in the view in the screen that users were seeing for the first time in application. And the other examples, there's a lot of them, like changing drastically main personas, because, for example, founders were thinking, or they had no information about the buying process or the adaptation process of the application in the organizations they were targeting. So it appeared that we don't, for example, target CEOs, for instance, but people that are, let's say, I don't know, team leaders. So product discovery can be a very holistic process, and it can focus on much more than just a product, because very often, to make a product successful, we need to understand the whole ecosystem that our product will work in, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, I understand. Like you need to have the knowledge on the whole process, like how the user flows looks like, what the user can experience during, yeah, for example, buying your product, using your product. Yeah, I think that's what you just mentioned.
It's not only a product itself, it's also about everything around the product, about everything that
Yeah,
is happening in your organization and in the user organization when they want to use your product. So it can also be connected to legal challenges. It can also be connected to I don't know, decision making processes in your target organization type. So you have to have knowledge about everything that can block buying or using your product.
makes sense. And like to conclude this section, what are like some key strategies that managers can start implementing right now to have like immediate impact on their day to day?
Simply put, talk to your customers. Just that, and believe me, it's a game changer. Because once you start engaging with users, you'll gather invaluable insights and it will shape your product in very meaningful ways. Later, of course, there can be a time for more advanced frameworks and analytical methods and so on, because there's really a lot of them. And also, one more important thing from my perspective, discovery is primarily about mindset and about product culture, a customer centric mindset and a customer centric product culture. The tools that Discover offers are there to facilitate this. But let's be clear, mm, implementing and integrating those tools into daily work will require effort and time. So let's start where we are with what we have, evaluate the benefits, and improve these processes. Learn, read, and consider what to experiment with next.
Yeah, that's very good summary. That's very good summary. And now I wanted to move to also not very pleasant topic. We were, we started from a joke, then moved to failures, so a little bit like less positive topic. Then we moved through strategies, and now we're moving to stakeholders management and leading without formal authority, because these are like the main two challenges when working as a product manager. And stakeholder management is actually one of the biggest pains, I would say, of product managers, but also project managers. And in the same time, it's crucial for like successful product development, because we are all working in some kind of environment. What strategies do you recommend for getting to know your stakeholders better and managing them effectively?
Yeah, I know stakeholder management can indeed be one of the trickiest part of product development, because product development, product discovery, basically basically everything connected to product management is require more than one person. So that's why we talk about product culture, about the company mindset, and yeah, stakeholders, our board, our boss is also a factor that impacts those product culture. So from my perspective, managing stakeholders starts with the right mindset, because I observe that we often forget that basically we are on the same team. Basically, we all want the same thing, the product success. Of course, we think differently. We very often want to use different tools. We have diverse opinion, but with the right mindset, all of those challenges can be actually a good thing. Uh, And now I recommend looking into a conflict theory because, in short, conflict, when managed well, is a positive phenomenon. It can lead us to really impactful outcomes. Okay, so let's start by developing the belief that stakeholders aren't our enemies. That's the first thing. We are friends, we are in the same team, we are not enemies. Don't treat every question or objection from their side as a declaration of war. We don't have to be uh, like warriors. We are challengers, we are facilitator of the process, but we are not in the war. Just have a conversation, just talk to them. That's the first step. And how do how to do that in practice? Um, well, you can, for example, start with conducting stakeholders interview. Just treat them like they are user of your product. Talk to them and try to understand their needs, their expectation, their concerns. It also give you the opportunity to build a relationship with them because I think that the relationship is very important in product development, especially in the management level, because they need to trust you and you should trust them. Because why do they have the objections? Probably they don't know what you think. Probably they don't know what you want to work on. Probably they don't understand the frameworks, the methods you are using. So that's the first thing. Based on those interviews and based on your knowledge about the organization, you can create a stakeholder map, but not only their place in the organizational chart, but also you should focus on the influence area or the interest area. So this will help you prioritize your effort and communication strategies, because probably you can invite one stakeholder to your regular sync meeting, and he or she will be very engaged in that, and he or she will provide you a lot of insights and value, and the other stakeholders will require only short updates once a month, for example. So you can also think about involving stakeholders early. Very often they like to be engage in the process, and it doesn't mean you have to listen every idea they give you. You don't have to treat their ideas as the requirements, but you should consider, because very often your stakeholders are very experienced people with the track of success. They have a very good intuition, and you can use it as a tool to drive your product success. Again, you are not enemies. It doesn't matter who give you the idea. It matters if this idea is something that you can use to boost your product. Simple like that. And well, I think that about communication, about I don't know, conflict resolution, it doesn't make sense to talk here because it's quite obvious. And with the mindset we are not enemies, it's much easier to implement effective communication strategy.
Yeah, there is this kind of mindset very often in a companies where there is there's like they versus us, yeah, and like we're fighting against yeah, the stakeholders or or the business. It's both ways. I mean, because I wanted to challenge that, because sometimes again we can go with the approach, we want to be allies. We're going towards the same goals, but the reality looks like we have certain goals. For example, as the product department, we have certain goals as a technology department, and we have certain goals as a business department. You can meet that in like companies, that kind of splitted approach, not like having one product team that is building everything and trying to reach the common goal, but very often the goals are like becoming different on a different levels of organizations. I don't know if you met with that kind
So
of
in this
experience.
situation, it's something really wrong about the goals you have. And in that situation, I would like to think, discuss, negotiate those goals, because it's completely normal that every department has different goals because they are focusing on different areas. But at the end of the day, every goal should be correlated to the main company's goals. So, for example, your goal can be create a product. The sales department's goal is to sell this product. So at the end, we need to have this product and we need to sell this product, and that's it. It's really one goal, but split it into different areas of our expertise, our areas that we are focusing on a daily basis. But still, I believe it's the same goal. Maybe we should to work on how we understand those goals, or how to I don't know, correlate them. But if we have different goals, if we cannot find a common space between those goals, it's something really wrong about, well, strategy, about how the company operates. And, well, basically, it's impossible to move on when we don't make clarity in this area.
And communicate it, as you mentioned, yeah, because it's again also about goals and communication of those goals, so everyone are aware where are we aiming, yeah. And the other challenge that I wanted to discuss is product managers very often need to lead teams without a formal authority or direct managerial line. And this is a frequent challenge. So, based on your experience, how do you successfully navigate these challenges to motivate and guide teams towards a common goal?
uh, I like the saying that leading without formal authority can feel like trying to steer a ship without a rudder. But we still need to find some ways to navigate these waters. So let's start with another important statement. For me, the key lies in choosing the right people. And of course, this is something that we very often cannot have impact on. But still, for example, I enjoy working with individuals who know why they are working, who love what they do, who are proactive, and, well, it's really important to trust the team. Okay, so that's the starting point. And of course, it's not easy to achieve this situation, but I have a few principles or directions or statements that I like to follow, because I believe they help us to create a team, not a bunch of individuals that are working on something together but they don't want to. But okay, let's start with the first rule. And the first rule is be the glue, not the boss. Again, be the glue, not the boss. I like to think of myself as the glue that holds the team together. So I perceive my role as the product manager as someone who is connecting people, who is connecting ideas, who is connecting the effort of different people. And how to do that? Well, it's again simple but difficult. We need to show that we are here to support, to unify, not just direct. Uh, the other thing is storytelling. I think storytelling is very powerful tool, and many people don't know how to use it. And the power of storytelling is or lies in inspiration and aligning the team. So we can try to paint a compelling picture of the future, and sh- we should show the team how each team member's contributions are essential to achieving that vision. And this is also something that the team should be built on. Then we have something I call influence through expertise. So we should be like go-to person for knowledge and solution. Because when we consistently provide valuable insights and help solve problems, people naturally look to our guidance, even if we don't have a formal title. And where we can also mention here our humor, humor and humanity, because I believe that we shouldn't underestimate the power of humor and showing our human side, because a well-timed joke or genuine conversation, it really can break down barriers and make people perceive um, us more like humans, and make them more receptive to our influence. And yeah, I think that's the most important advice that comes to my mind right now.
Yeah, I really like, and that resonates with me what you said about being the glue, not the boss. So like connecting the team and making them motivated or empowered, supporting them when they need that. And also what you said about storytelling, because yeah, storytelling. I mean, a good storytelling is about touching people's minds and hearts, and I really like that metaphor. Yeah. And as we conclude, what's one piece of advice you would offer to product managers looking to elevate their craft and lead successful product development?
Only one piece of advice? Well, stay curious and never stop learning. That's it. And how to do that? Engage with your users, embrace change, invest in your growth, and balance vision and execution.
Okay, okay. And what you're most excited about in your upcoming projects or innovations in product management space, or perhaps something in personal life?
Well, there are a few changes in my professional life that I can't talk about just yet, but I think there will be some announcements on my LinkedIn soon. So I encourage you to follow me there. And as for the other areas, well, as you know, a lot is happening. As the father of an 8-month old, difficult word. So, as the father of an 8-month old, I can say my reality has never been more agile. Plus, we are in the midst of moving to a new city, so yeah, there is a lot of happening around. And but as I've mentioned before, openness to change is a key. So I enjoy applying product management principles to my personal life as well. So yeah, I keep fingers crossed for the changes that is happening right now.
I believe in positive outcome. So yeah, it will go the right way. Maybe not the planned way, but the right for you.
Thank you for that.
And for those inspired by your journey and wanting to learn more or seek mentorship, where they can best reach you online?
Definitely my LinkedIn profile. You can connect with me there for updates, insights, uh, basically everything. I'm always happy to engage with fellow product enthusiasts and share knowledge. So feel free to follow and reach out.
Yeah, so thank you, Kamil, for our conversation. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed your calm and peaceful advices and an approach. So yeah, hope to see you soon.
Once again, thanks for the invite. I'm also very happy about this conversation and see you soon.
Thanks for joining me on another episode of Doing It My Way by Beata Matras. If you enjoyed this episode, please do not forget to subscribe. Remember, this podcast is a dynamic journey and your feedback is very welcomed. Connect with me on social media. I would like to hear your thoughts, questions, and topic suggestions. And stay tuned for upcoming episodes. And until next time, keep doing it your way.